Caitlin Clark, I promise you, they aren't my favorite. Sophie Cunningham, and I promise you, we get treated better at Adidas. That is a shot. Pew pew. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Shots fired. And no, this wasn't playful locker room trash talk or teammates joking around. This was a clear public message. Sophie Cunningham basically said out loud what a lot of people in women's basketball have been thinking for months. Nike is dropping the ball with the biggest star the game has right now. When a player puts something like that in writing, knowing executives, sponsors, and media are all watching, it's not accidental. That's someone choosing to speak because the frustration has built up too far to stay quiet. And let's be honest, Cunningham isn't some random voice. She's in the league, she knows how these deals work, and she understands how carefully players usually protect relationships with brands that pay them. That's why this matters. Caitlin Clark isn't just another talented player. She's a ratings driver. She fills arenas. She sells jerseys. She brings in fans who didn't care about the WNBA before last season. In sports marketing, that's gold. And when a brand like Nike, which built its reputation on spotting stars early and turning them into icons, hesitates or moves slowly, people notice. What makes this even louder is the timing. Women's basketball is having a moment. More eyes, more money, more attention than ever before. This should be the easiest layup Nike has taken in years. Instead, the silence feels strange, almost careless, especially when smaller brands are moving faster and showing more confidence. Cunningham didn't say Nike was evil. She didn't attack anyone personally. She just pointed at the reality and let it sit there. That's what makes it sting. It wasn't emotional. It was matter of fact. And when players start saying these things publicly, it usually means the private conversations already went nowhere. Whether Nike responds or not, one thing is clear. The pressure is on, and everyone's watching to see who actually understands the moment they're standing in.
Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Obviously, they are two players who we hope are still playing for the Indiana Fever. However, Sophie Cunningham took a massive shot at Nike today.
This is where things crossed the line from casual social media chatter into something much bigger. At first, nothing looked unusual. Sophie Cunningham posted pictures wearing Adidas sneakers. That happens all the time. Athletes post shoe photos, brands get visibility, fans move on. Then Aaliyah Boston, who already has an Adidas deal, commented and said they were her favorite shoes. Again, totally normal. Teammates supporting each other, brand loyalty, no drama. But then Sophie replied directly to Caitlin Clark, and that's when the tone changed completely. I promise you we get treated better at Adidas. That's not a compliment. That's not a joke. That's a message. And it wasn't meant just for Caitlin. It was meant for everyone watching, especially Nike. That one sentence does a lot of work. First, it openly suggests that Nike isn't treating its biggest women's basketball star the way it should. Second, it positions Adidas as the better option without sounding like a formal ad. And third, it puts public pressure on a brand that usually likes to control the narrative behind closed doors. This wasn't accidental. Sophie knows exactly what she's doing. Athletes are very careful about how they talk about sponsors because relationships and money are on the line. Saying something like that publicly means she's confident in it. Or at the very least, confident enough to let the conversation explode. Calling it a recruitment pitch is an exaggeration. That's exactly what it was. She framed it like friendly teammate advice, but the message was clear. There's a better deal waiting for you on the other side. For Nike, this is uncomfortable. They're watching one of their own athletes publicly hint that another brand treats players better, while the biggest star in the game remains unsigned long-term. That's how narratives shift. Not through press releases, but through moments like this when players stop whispering and start posting.
Already. It would have happened already. Caitlin's not leaving Nike now. She's absolutely 0% chance she's leaving Nike today or right now when, at a time when, things are absolutely going well for her at Nike. When things are going well for her at Nike. And when things weren't going well for her at Nike, fair enough. Like when Nike were ignoring her, it seemed like they were putting her to the side because, it was a bad look to hype up Caitlin Clark. When Paige Becker's got a line of merch before,
All right, let's break this down clearly. Caitlin Clark isn't going anywhere. She just signed an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike, the biggest sneaker contract ever in women's basketball history. That's life-changing money. You don't just walk away from that kind of generational wealth over a minor disagreement or a few bruised feelings. But here's the catch. It's not about whether Caitlin will leave. It's about perception and team dynamics. The fact that her teammates like Sophie Cunningham feel comfortable making public comments about how Nike treats athletes shows something important. The tension is real, and it's visible. It's no longer behind closed doors. Fans, media, and sponsors can all see it. Even if Caitlin is fully committed to Nike, these small public jabs, like Sophie hinting Adidas treats players better, create narratives that stick. It makes people start questioning the relationship between Nike and its athletes. And in the world of sports marketing, perception is everything. Brands live and die by how fans, players, and competitors see them. So, Caitlin may be locked in contractually, but the influence her presence and her teammates' words create is significant. A single teammate comment can make the conversation about sponsorships, treatment, and loyalty go viral, and brands notice. In short, Caitlin isn't leaving Nike. The contract is too big for that. But the visible dissatisfaction, or even the perception of it, has already created a ripple effect, and it could impact how players, fans, and other brands think about Nike moving forward. It's a subtle power move, and it shows that even the most secure deals can't control the court of public opinion.
when Paige Becker's got a line of merch before Caitlin Clark, then you're like, what is going on? Paige Becker's got a line of merch when she was still in college. That being said, it is a very, very interesting thing here to see this comment, because you better believe that this is not just a random comment. And this is something that, worst case scenario, has been talked about. Whether it's...
Here's the situation in plain, clear terms. This isn't the first time Nike has faced public scrutiny over how they're handling Caitlin Clark's brand. Her boyfriend Connor McCaffey has openly criticized Nike on social media multiple times. And he's not being subtle. These are direct calls about how poorly they're managing her image and opportunities. Then there's the timeline issue, which raises even more eyebrows. Paige Buchers, a college star at the time, got a signature merchandise line while still in school. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who shattered viewership records and helped the WNBA reach its highest ratings in 23 years, had to wait months after turning professional just to get any significant product push from Nike. That's a huge gap, and it makes people question priorities. The disconnect is obvious. Here's a player delivering unprecedented attention, breaking records, and expanding the league's audience. And yet the support she receives from her sponsor doesn't match her impact. Fans and teammates notice, and so does the media. Even if Caitlin herself is committed to Nike because of her massive 8-year, $28 million deal, the optics aren't great. So while she isn't going anywhere contractually, these signals, public teammate comments, social media critiques from her inner circle, and the delayed product rollout paint a picture of frustration and missed opportunity. Nike may have the deal locked down, but perception matters in sports marketing, and right now, a lot of people are wondering if they're doing enough to back their biggest star.
We all kind of know that Nike did a bad job with Caitlin Clark, especially initially. There's no question about it that initially Nike did a bad job with Caitlin Clark. They did a real bad job. And I think every single person will agree to that one. And if you're not agreeing to that one, I genuinely would question whether or not it's just like the only people that would say Nike did a good job with Caitlin are the people that are saying that would make the argument that Caitlin didn't deserve any praise, and Nike did a good job because the AJ Wilson deserved all the hype
The Kobe comparisons make Caitlin Clark's situation more complicated than it seems. Nike put her in the Kobe line, which sounds prestigious, but in reality, it limits her personal brand. She's sharing shelf space instead of building her own signature identity, which is exactly what top athletes get. Look at other stars. Ari Wilson has her own signature shoe. Sabrina Ionescu has a full line under her name. Even Brianna Stewart has the Stewie line with Puma. Each of them has a product fans instantly recognize and associate with the player. Caitlin, though, who is single-handedly bringing casual fans to women's basketball, doesn't get that same treatment. Instead, her name is tacked onto the Kobe 6 line almost as an afterthought. In marketing terms, that's a huge difference. It sends a subtle message about priority and investment. Her influence is acknowledged but not fully leveraged. This isn't about money. Caitlin signed a record-breaking $28 million deal over 8 years, the largest sneaker contract in women's basketball history. Walking away isn't even an option. But the frustration is real, and it's visible. Her teammates feel confident enough to make public comments about it. Fans notice. Even her boyfriend, Connor McCaffey, has tweeted criticism of Nike's handling of her brand. The optics matter because it's not just about shoes. It's about recognition, visibility, and legacy. Caitlin Clark has changed the game, and she deserves a brand that reflects that. Nike may have locked in the deal, but in terms of influence and branding, they're leaving a lot of potential on the table. The question isn't whether she's wealthy, she is, but whether her status as the WNBA's biggest star is being treated with the respect it deserves.
I bit my tongue yesterday. There's something. There's always going to be kind of something there with a joke like that. But yeah, it is a very, very interesting thing all around to see what way people are going to respond to this scenario, what way we're going to see the players in the league, the Nike responding, because it's a shot at Nike. But look,
Sophie Cunningham's comment hits harder than it looks at first glance. She's not just talking about sneakers or merchandise. She's talking about respect. She's pointing out that companies need to recognize the value someone brings and act accordingly. In other words, it's about being treated fairly for your contributions. Inside the Indiana Fever locker room, these conversations are real. Teammates notice the differences in how sponsors treat athletes. Caitlin Clark, who has changed the WNBA and brought record viewership and attention, isn't getting the same commitment from Nike that other stars receive from their brands. Meanwhile, Adidas goes all in on players like Cunningham and Aaliyah Boston, investing heavily and giving them visibility and opportunities to grow. The frustration isn't just about perks or money, it's about acknowledgement. Athletes want their work, their influence, and the growth they've generated for their sport to be recognized and rewarded. When a sponsor hesitates or holds back, it sends a message. Your impact is appreciated, but not enough to fully invest in. That's exactly what Cunningham was pointing out, even if she said it casually. These differences matter. They shape the locker room dynamics, affect morale, and influence how players view their careers. It's not only about the sneakers, they're a symbol of value and respect in the professional sports world. For someone like Caitlin Clark, who has redefined attention for the WNBA, seeing others get fully supported, while her sponsor hesitates, is a tangible reminder that recognition doesn't always match contribution. In short, Cunningham's comment is more than a casual remark. It's a critique of the system and a call for sponsors to truly acknowledge the athletes driving their sport forward.
like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, at least I would say during the stage when Nike were absolutely screwing Caitlin, that like Nike would or like this would have become a much bigger news, because right now we all know Caitlin's shoes coming. It's not going to mean that much, and like it's not going to start World War CC, because let's be real, there's a lot of social media posts and random comments that would start World War CC again, especially if it comes from social media. So anyway, yeah.
The context here is important. Sophie Cunningham's comment didn't come at the height of Nike's mishandling of Caitlin Clark's brand. This wasn't during the months when Nike delayed product releases or failed to promote her properly. Instead, it happened after Nike finally began rolling out Caitlin Clark products, featuring her in campaigns, and taking steps that seemed like they were correcting past mistakes. That timing is significant because it tells us something about how deep the issue goes. It suggests one of two possibilities, or maybe both. Either the early missteps left lasting frustration that still resonates with Caitlyn and those close to her, or the current treatment, even with products and campaigns in place, still doesn't fully reflect the value she brings. In all likelihood, it's a combination of both. The frustration isn't just about missed opportunities in the past, it's also about expectations for the present. Caitlyn Clark has become the face of women's basketball in ways that no other player has, driving record attendance, TV ratings, and fan interest. So when her teammates publicly point out that other brands treat their athletes better, it's not exaggeration, it's observation. They're highlighting the gap between what she's achieved and how she's being supported. Even as Nike tries to make up for its early mistakes, the shadow of those months remains. Respect, acknowledgement, and consistent support are just as important as the products themselves. Cunningham's comment makes that clear. This isn't just a discussion about shoes. It's about recognizing and valuing someone who has changed the game.
Do you guys think there's any, truth to this statement? I think there is. I think behind every joke like this, there is a little bit of truth. A little bit of truth. And we've seen from Conor McCaffrey's posting that there was at least some frustration on Caitlyn's side towards Nike at some stage. I'm not saying she ever considered leaving or anything, because to be fair, she was debuting Kobe PEs, I'd say there was positives there, but there was at least some frustration. So it was not all positive from Caitlyn Clark's side on.
And pay attention to how Sophie Cunningham phrased her comment. She didn't just say that Adidas treats their athletes well. She specifically said, "We get treated better at Adidas." Better than what? Better than whom? The meaning is obvious. She's directly comparing Adidas to Nike, and in her view, Adidas comes out on top. That's not subtle, and it's certainly not accidental. This is a teammate observing how her friend Caitlyn Clark is being shortchanged and choosing to speak out about it publicly. It's a clear message that the current situation with Nike isn't meeting expectations. The comment also highlights a deeper issue about respect and recognition. Sponsorships aren't just about money or products. They're about valuing what an athlete brings to the table. In Caitlyn's case, she's driving unprecedented attention to women's basketball, record TV ratings, packed arenas, and new fans discovering the sport. And yet, according to Cunningham, that value isn't being fully recognized by her own sponsor. What makes this moment even more telling is the timing. Nike has already started promoting Caitlyn, featuring her in campaigns, and releasing products with her name. So if Cunningham is still making this comparison publicly, it suggests that either the early missteps left lingering frustration or the current support still isn't enough, probably both. In short, this isn't just about sneakers. It's about a player who has changed the game and a teammate willing to call out what she sees as unfair treatment. That public comparison sends a clear signal. Nike may need to rethink how they handle their top stars, because even after corrective steps, the message is still loud and clear.
Never thought I'd be so happy to see Caitlyn get bodied in the comments, but I'm not bad at Sophie at all, not one bit. So happy to see Sophie on our team. CC definitely is someone like her who's going to say the truth about everything. Nike, y'all going to take that. Sophie ain't lie. Now, I'm not saying, Caitlyn, if Caitlyn was ever going to leave Nike, it would have happened already. It would have happened already. Caitlyn is not...
Here's what makes this especially interesting from a business perspective. Sophie Cunningham has no financial reason to attack Nike or promote Adidas. She doesn't have a deal with Adidas, so she's not gaining money or sponsorship by making this statement. There's no hidden agenda, no corporate strategy at play. That's what makes it so authentic. She's not trying to profit. She's simply speaking up as a teammate and a friend. She's seen how Caitlyn Clark has been treated compared to other top athletes, and felt compelled to call it out publicly. This isn't about contracts or business deals. It's about fairness and respect. And that authenticity is exactly why this comment has resonated so strongly. Fans, media, and even industry insiders can sense when someone is being genuine versus when someone is speaking strategically. Cunningham's statement carries weight precisely because it comes from a place of honesty, not self-interest. It also highlights a broader point about athlete relationships and brand partnerships. Sponsorships aren't just transactional. They're built on trust, respect, and recognition. When a teammate sees that those principles aren't being applied fairly, it sparks reactions that can ripple beyond the locker room. In this case, Cunningham's comment has drawn attention not just to Caitlin Clark's situation but to Nike's handling of their athletes more broadly. Ultimately, this isn't just a minor locker room gripe. It's a window into how perception, loyalty, and authenticity can impact brand image and athlete relationships. When someone like Cunningham speaks out, it sends a clear signal. Respect matters, and even the largest companies can't ignore it.
Reminds you when Caitlin, she thanked Kelsey Plum for an Under Armour athlete for the Nike ad. I mean, Kelsey Plum's started wearing Nikes again, hasn't she? But yeah, this is an interesting one here. No quotes, but yeah, this one is a very, very interesting.
The social media reaction says everything about how fans see Nike's handling of Caitlin Clark. The comment section blew up immediately, not with people defending Nike's strategy or explaining why their approach was reasonable, but with agreement that Sophie Cunningham was speaking the truth. Fans shared their own frustrations about how Nike treated the WNBA's biggest star. Echoing what Cunningham said, Caitlin Clark deserves better treatment. But what does better treatment really mean in the sneaker industry? It goes far beyond slapping a player's name on a shoe. When Adidas signs a top athlete, they build an entire ecosystem around that person. Look at Anthony Edwards in the NBA. Within 2 years, he had a signature shoe, a massive marketing campaign, prime placement in stores, creative input on design, and the feeling that he was the centerpiece of Adidas' basketball division, not just another player on the roster. Now compare that to how Nike initially handled Caitlin Clark. During the month she was breaking viewership records and drawing unprecedented attention to the WNBA, Nike remained mostly quiet. There were no signature shoe announcements, limited merchandise availability, and minimal promotional push. It almost seemed like they were hesitant to fully embrace her, perhaps worried about offending other athletes by promoting her too aggressively. That is not how you treat a generational talent who is expanding your market. The Paige Bueckers situation highlights this perfectly. Paige is an incredible player and deserved her Nike deal, but she received a full product line while still in college, before playing professionally. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, breaking NCAA scoring records, selling out arenas, generating ratings rivaling NBA playoff games, had to wait until after turning pro to get similar treatment. The optics are stark, and the contrast sends a clear message about the company's priorities. It's not just timing, it's enthusiasm. Nike goes all in with NBA stars like LeBron James or Kevin Durant. Massive ad campaigns, celebrity endorsements, commercials during major events. When they finally promoted Clark, it felt cautious, almost like testing the waters rather than boldly backing her. They were slow to recognize that she wasn't just another athlete. She was a force changing the entire market. Caitlin Clark brought new viewers to the WNBA. She made casual sports fans care about women's basketball, drove merchandise sales to record levels, and fundamentally expanded the league's audience. This level of impact demands recognition matching the magnitude of her achievements. Sophie Cunningham sees this. Her teammates see this. Connor McCaffey sees this. And social media sees this too. The only ones slow to recognize it were Nike executives, the people who should have understood Clark's value from day one. That frustration is what Cunningham's comment taps into. Not criticism of Nike now, but the fact that the company hesitated for months despite overwhelming evidence of Clark's impact. Her words resonated because they voice what many fans and insiders had been thinking all along. Will this one comment change Nike's approach? Not directly. Companies rarely overhaul strategy because of an Instagram exchange. But it adds to a growing narrative. Nike missed the initial opportunity with Clark and is now trying to catch up with an athlete they should have led with from the start. That narrative matters. Future athletes watch these moves closely. If you're the next star in women's basketball, do you want to sign with a company that hesitated with Clark, or one that recognizes your value immediately? This situation also highlights a broader issue: how corporations value women's sports. For decades, executives claimed women's sports didn't justify major marketing investments. Caitlin Clark proved them wrong, showing that women's basketball can sell out arenas, drive TV ratings, and create commercial opportunities. And yet, even with that proof, Nike seemed uncertain about how aggressively to promote her. That hesitation reveals lingering skepticism about women's sports, even when the numbers are undeniable. Cunningham's statement works because it's simple and direct. We get treated better at Adidas. No corporate speak, no careful diplomacy, just honesty. Sometimes the simplest statements are the most powerful. They voice what everyone is thinking without overcomplicating it. Was Cunningham out of line? Hardly. She was doing what teammates do. Defending a friend when that friend can't speak freely. Clark can't publicly criticize Nike without risking controversy and jeopardizing a $28 million deal. Cunningham can, and she did it in a way everyone understood without putting Clark in an awkward position. That's loyalty and courage in action. Nike is paying attention. They see the fan reaction, the media coverage, and the narrative forming around their treatment of Clark. And they know perception is critical. Nike's brand relies on spotting greatness early, backing it fully, and setting cultural trends. Missing Clark's impact, even temporarily, was a misstep. Comments like Cunningham's remind everyone that the perception problem hasn't gone away. Will Clark ever leave Nike? Financially, that's almost impossible, and Nike is investing heavily in her brand. But Cunningham's comment, and others like it, put pressure on the company to do better moving forward. Because in corporate partnerships, money isn't the only factor. Trust, respect, and public perception matter just as much. If a teammate publicly suggests Clark would be better elsewhere, that's a clear warning sign. Despite Clark's massive contract and recent product launches, Cunningham's comment highlights lingering concerns. Nike didn't fully recognize Clark's value from the beginning, and that perception can define partnerships even more than contracts. In professional sports, relationships and trust often outweigh the numbers. This is what makes the situation fascinating. Clark isn't just a player. She's a market changer. And Cunningham's words remind the world that recognizing true talent isn't just about money. It's about respect, timing, and commitment. Fans understand this. Teammates understand this. The industry is watching. And Nike, now fully aware, knows that even the best contracts and product launches can't fix a perception problem if the respect isn't there.